This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. I just want to have a little bit of a muse today on the topic of how we listen to music these days. I don't mean, vinyl versus cassettes, which I'm told are making something of a comeback for some reason, or CDs or streaming. I mean, these days, streaming is how I listen to music, be it using my earbuds on my phone or on the Spotify app on the smart TV downstairs. I don't buy that sort of criticism of streaming that you value music less than that. I still get just as enthused and excited about a new album that I've been either looking forward to the release of or a new album that I've discovered. I mean, two discoveries this year have been a band called Doomsday Outlaw, who I absolutely love, and that recent Slash album, Orgy of the Damned, where he essentially did the same sort of thing as Gary Moore did back in the 1990s or in 1990, where he just thought, screw this, I'm going to do a blues album, and it's fantastic. And I don't value that music any less than an album I might have bought when I was an adolescent, clutching the newly bought record sleeve and its wonderful contents all the way home on the bus ride, and that sort of sense of anticipation. Then I don't value the music that I listen to now, the new music that I'm listening to now, any less than I did back in the day. So I don't really, just from a personal perspective, I don't buy that idea that because music is instant and on demand that it's somehow worth less these days. It certainly isn't for me anyway. What I'm talking about here is how do you listen to music in terms of the situation, the context in which you listen to it. Are you one of those people that, because it's so easy to now to do the equivalent of what in the 80s we would have called a mixtape? You can just throw together a playlist on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you might be streaming. Do you kind of throw playlists together like that, or are you sort of a sit down and listen to an album front to back kind of listener, or a bit of both maybe? I suppose I would have to say I'm a bit of both, in that if we have friends round, for example, and and we're having what, if I was a middle class kind of person, I would call a dinner party. Not really a dinner party kind of person. It's really, it's more kind of eating fish and chips out of the paper off your knee whilst slouched on the sofa and having a few beers with friends. It's hardly the society event of the season, is it? But in that sort of situation, then low volume, there'll be like some kind of curated playlist that I'll put on, just for background music, just for something there as a backdrop. The only other time I can really think I'll listen to a playlist is I have like a Christmas playlist that I put on Christmas morning, all the usual sort of stuff, a mixture of all of the kind of Christmas hits of my youth, Slade, Wizard, The Pogues. Those are basically the only three you need really, aren't there? But a few others and a few sort of traditional carols and stuff, and that just sort of sets the mood nicely on December the 25th morning as you're drinking your coffee laced with rum. But other than those sort of situations, I'm not really a playlist kind of person. I find it really jarring, for example, when you're listening to a particular song and you think, yeah, and you're used to that song being in the context of a particular album, and you know which song comes next, and then when it doesn't go to that song, I was like, it just feels a little bit odd for some reason. Do you get that? So when I sit and listen to music, I will make sure that I have the time available to sit and listen to a particular album front to back. I mean, why would you want to listen to just individual tracks off an album like Dark Side of the Moon, for example? From that kind of way that it creeps in with Speak to Me, and then into Breathe, and all the way through to that spine-tingling final line, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Just that whole journey that you go on with that album, to sort of break that up and chop it up into little bits and put them out of context. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me. And the same is true, I mean, you can say that of that album, I suppose, because it is like a continuous narrative almost. But even with an album where it's just individual discrete songs that aren't necessarily connected to the previous one, I still like to listen to the album in the correct order. Not saying there aren't occasionally tracks that I'll skip. I did a video on this a few months ago, however long ago it was, where I was talking about 5 tracks that you always skip, one of which was Angel Eyes off that first Jeff Healey album, See the Light. Just such a kind of schmaltzy, out-of-place power ballad on, not a very powerful power ballad, it has to be said, on an album full of otherwise kind of gritty blues rock, kind of high-octane, kind of stomping, as I say, blues rock. That song seemed out of place, so I just skipped past that one. Another one is the Molly Hatchet version of It's All Over Now from Flirting with Disaster. Again, a song that just seems a little bit out of context on the album, so I'll kind of tend to skip that. But, those are the exceptions rather than the rule. I do like to sit and listen to an album front to back all the way through, and if I don't have the time to do that, then I don't put the album on and press play, because it would be like kind of like a Tony Hancock episode where, I'm showing my age, aren't I? The missing page, where you kind of get to the end of the story or the end of the album, and you're missing the end. So that's how I listen to music. Very, very rarely listen in terms of playlists. Only on sort of specific occasions where the music is there as just a backdrop, really. I like to listen to an album, and as I say, people say, Spotify encourages you to kind of just because it's on demand and it's instant, you tend to not get the full appreciation of it. I still do. I sit there with headphones on and pay attention to the music. I can't put an album on and read a book, for example, because I can't concentrate on the book and I can't concentrate on the music, and it's an immensely frustrating and kind of annoying situation to be in. I've got to do one or the other. I've got to pay attention to what I'm reading or pay attention to what I'm listening to. And if you just go for music which is designed to be sort of little more than elevator music, kind of Muzak sort of thing as an accompaniment to reading, well, I'd rather just have silence than that sort of thing. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say today. Just kind of, I think basically what's motivated me to kind of talk about this is that, a lot of people from my kind of vintage, from my generation, will kind of talk about how, as I say, Spotify and streaming services like that are to the detriment of music. I don't think they are. I think even the way that a service like Spotify has changed the business model of the music industry. Once upon a time, a band like Milli Vanilli could, become massively successful, even though they were, they had less talent than my toenail clippings. but it didn't matter. They could still sell records and be successful because they didn't have to prove that they could do it live. I think now the fact that if you are a working musician, the only way you can really, earn a crust is to get out there on your hind legs in front of an audience and prove that you can do it live. I think that is a positive aspect of like streaming platforms that a lot of people overlook. Listening to music via streaming services, like, as I say, Spotify, that's the one I use, hasn't dented my appreciation of music. It hasn't changed the way that I like to enjoy an album, as I say, from beginning to end. And it hasn't really made me value the music that I listen to any less than I valued it when I used to have to, kind of get on a bus, go into the town centre, go and leaf through the vinyl bins and find the album that I want, take it to the counter, pay the money, go and stand at the bus stop, get the bus back home, kind of take it out of its sleeve, put it on the turntable, all that sort of, that rigmarole that, did build a sense of excitement, I suppose. But I think the reason I still get the excitement is because I don't have, a lot of time to sit down and just enjoy an album, as I said, from start to finish. I will carve that time out in my diary if necessary, and I look forward to that album. Oh yes, it's Dark Side of the Moon night, or it's Love Over Gold night, or it's whatever album it might be. I've got that in the diary, and I'm going to sit down, I'm going to have a beer, and I'm just going to kind of pay attention to the music. What format the music comes in isn't relevant under those sort of circumstances. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments section. I'm genuinely interested to know if the way that I kind of think on this makes me some sort of outlier, or if there are more of us out there than you would be led to expect. Anyway, I'm starting to kind of ramble, I suppose. So, well, I've started to ramble since the beginning of this video, but I think I've said what I've got to say, and that is the video for today, folks. As I say, if you have any thoughts on what I've been blethering on about, leave them down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, kind of hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And please hit the like button. It helps me in the algorithm, apparently. But that's it for today. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 p.m. UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars and possibly how we listen to music. That might be a topic that will crop up this week in the chat. Anyway, it's just a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.